Okay, so welcome back from the break. Still watching 80 Minutes Review on Metro Television. My name is Desifania the Star. I'm here with Nana Yatano Wache and also Helen K. Our guest joined us this afternoon. He, on his Instagram page, he says he's a talent manager, a minister of the gospel, a marketing event consult. He's everything. He's a host also. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Favored is our guest this afternoon. Andy, good afternoon and welcome to the Table of Life.
Hi, good afternoon. Table of Life. Wow.
Everything there. So.
Whoa.
This is your first time here?
First time, yeah. I'm impressed with the studio. Okay. One of the finest I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
That's happy.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Now, this afternoon, we want to talk about the gospel music industry and innovations when it comes to events. People go for events for experiences, not just to go there and be part of the whatever that happens and go back home, but there's an experience that's supposed to live with them. And so we're looking at how gospel musicians can work on their performances at these events and even the events themselves, if they could add certain things that will spice up the event so that people leave with experiences. Andy, what's your favorite gospel concert? What has been your favorite gospel concert?
It's going to be difficult. A difficult one you've asked me.
Could be 3, could be 2.
Well,
or more.
No,
Maybe he can't give us a specific
least,
one.
right.
But if he gives us the 3 or 2, we can squeeze
okay,
in.
yeah,
okay, so not in any particular order.
Order.
There are a lot of events that are happening in the gospel world. And I can say some are really doing well. On top of my mind now, I can talk about Praise Reloaded.
Jometo, okay.
I can talk about Tahila Experience or Human Mercy Tahila Experience. I will talk about DH Experience. I will talk about Women in Worship.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the list can go on.
There are lots of them.
Yeah.
So there are lots of events that happen. Why do you have these come into your mind when you just have to think about the best experiences you have? What are the points that you pick from these events?
I think with me, any gospel event I go to, there are some things that I look out for. And I think these events try to meet up with those expectations. I'm an event person myself, having done event for over 15 years.
Okay.
When it comes to most of the gospel events that has happened in the country or that I've started in the country, by the grace of God, I've been
a part of it.
I've been a part of it one way or the other. I know that when God created us, we are talking about gospel. So God gave us some senses, and these senses, God put about 3 of them in the face. And so we have the sense of sight, we have the sense of hearing, and then the skin, feel what we feel. And I believe that any Christian event, gospel event that you organize or you go into, these senses has to be attracted. So what you are seeing on stage, your eyes have to be glued on stage throughout. And then what you are hearing from the sound, it has to be something that is very exciting to hear, pleasing to the ears. And then the sense of touch, feel. You feel what the performance is coming out. So whatever performance is being done, you have to feel something. You don't have to leave the same. It has to touch you. It has to have an impact on you. That is gospel. Yes, I can go for any other event. I'll just jump, dance, blah, 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 excited, and leave. But when it comes to gospel, I need to live with an impact, something. I have to feel something. And that I can say is the Spirit of God. I can say is the anointing of the Lord. That is gospel.
Okay,
Gospel
interesting.
Event. So these events that I mentioned, that is my opinion. Not because I've been part of some of these events one way or the other, but I see that they try hard to attract all these senses and make me feel that way when I go into those events.
One of the problems of events, especially secular events, will be time. And in recent times, a couple of weeks, we are hammering on indiscipline on our sides when it comes to working on our time. I mean, we've always said that it's a Guinean thing, but a concert will be slated for Sunday afternoon, 5 p.m. Supposed to start by 7 p.m. We are still doing sound check, or we are doing some of these things, and then we end up leaving the venue as late as 12 a.m. In the gospel space, I know that it try as much as possible to be, but that is a very huge factor that we need to deal with when it comes to events in our country, in the gospel sector.
Yes, I think you said it right. It is not only a gospel thing; it is a culture thing, Ghanaian mindset, Ghanaian thing, African thing, if I have to say it that way. So when you go for secular events, it happens sometimes. Even the VGMH, other music awards, big event has been advertised to start at a particular time. You get there, and about 2-3 hours, nothing happened. But when it comes to the gospel events, that is where I work most, so I can give some examples. When it comes to the gospel events, one major problem we have here in the country is that we don't have event centers. So most of these gospel events are being done in churches, and sometimes the churches will close very late. So when the church closes that late, you are now forced to do your setup within a space of time.
Yeah.
And so within that space, you cannot do much.
Okay.
You cannot do much. Sometimes you are forced to, some churches may give you the opportunity to do setup ahead of time. But because it's an event, definitely after they have closed, you need to retune some things and all that. And all these things add up to why most of the events that we do here starts very late.
You know, we see Christians. I mean, we want to always do the right things, and so when these things happen, first time, second time, third time, people say that okay, no change, and that's what we are looking at. Some of the changes that we can find in our events, we can make it better so that it doesn't look like the secular.
What I advocate for most of the time now, when I meet gospel artists, some of Christian event organizers, is look out for a neutral ground. If you get it, okay, maybe you are getting a conference center, National Theatre, they are giving you days ahead to do your setup. Then you can start early. But even that, sometimes when you have you are done with your setups and all, now we are ready to start. Patronage, people who have to come in, they are not yet in. And so what are you going to do? You still would want to get a number of people before you can start the event. Yes, you just don't want the artist to perform to a half full or an empty auditorium. You need all these things. And so all these things come to play. So we need to work on ourselves as Christians. You know that if we have an appointment for an event, it means that it is an appointment with God. So if Nanado has given you an appointment to meet him at 11, you would force to get there by that time. But again, we will say that because these things have happened over the years, over the times,
It's become a part of us.
it has become a part of us. So sometimes when I'm advertising an event, I'm forced to mention a time 2 hours ahead of the time I know I want to start the event. So if I want to start an event at 5 p.m.,
You say 3 p.m.
you would want to say it's 3 p.m. so that at least by the time it's 5, you get a half full or quite a number of people so that you can begin your event. And that has been some of our major problems.
Okay, so I mean, talking about timing, if that is sorted or if that is worked around, then we can move forward. But then apart from that, I think just yesterday when we were speaking with Fancy Gadam, he was actually talking about, he wanted to have a show this year in December and then looking for an event center, but then he was told that it's already booked. So which means that a lot of these centers are even booked ahead. So which means that we don't have a lot of event centers here in Ghana. What do you think can be worked around? Even can churches or, gospel artists come together to also start building their own event centers? Is it possible?
Yeah, but I think we need a lot of investors in that space. People would have to make sure, okay, this is what I want to do. But I think it's also a calling. If God has not placed it on your heart, you can't do it. Building an auditorium for strictly Christian events, and that is going to be difficult. But an investor can set up an event space we can all use. For instance, we planned using the AICC, Accra International Conference Center, for 20 years anniversary celebration of PSA Esther, the YMEA concert. And we had to comb around town for months. Like, we go here, churches, they say no to us. Sometimes you get that space, the acoustics isn't too great, isn't too good. You can't use
so
that.
the sound wouldn't be too,
And at the end of the day, we settled at conference center. But even that, a lot of events needed to be cancelled, or they need to make sure that some people who are booked are not coming in before we can get the space. So it is a very big challenge. A very big challenge that we need to look at. We are praying that a lot of investment will come through.
But
that is why I support the National Cathedral.
you think you can use it for events?
Oh yes, I have used it. We can use it for events.
But then again, why do you think it's
the-
difficult for
Yeah.
investors to actually invest in building spaces for gospel shows? Why do you think it's difficult? Is it that they are unable to make a lot of money, or what could the problem be?
That could also be commercialization. I met a great man of God some time ago, very huge. I wouldn't mention him. And then he brought a team of people together. He wanted to build an event center. So he took all of this team of great minds onto the site. So he had the sound engineers, acoustic personnel, lighting guys, and all that, just to look at the space, scout around, and then know how the whole building is going to be like. So after that whole thing has been done, the plan was being drawn, architecture-wise and all that. And one of the team members asked this great man of God that, so is it going to be only for gospel events because you're a man of God? And then the man of God asked this young guy who asked the question that, how many gospel events have you been to within this year? And he said, like one. He was not even too sure. He said, yes, well, and that is it. That is the problem. So if I'm doing this, I'm getting investment from so many places or from banks to do this. How do you expect me to
recoup all of that
to
money?
recoup and pay all these things? Yes. So if Christians ourselves are going to patronize Christian events, I'm sure some of these investment people who are blessed by God can look at, okay, let me have a space for Christian event, and at least if not commercializing it, you can get
something
his
out of
investment and
that,
all
yeah.
that.
Yes, before you introduce our guest, let me just chip this in so that we end that conversation then. Honestly, you are an event producer. You are also a talent manager. Honestly, Andy, looking at the terrain in the Ghanaian gospel space, does the gospel terrain need innovative ways to make their show thrive?
I would say yes and no.
Okay,
Two
so
things. First and foremost, when it comes to innovations, when I saw the question you sent earlier on, I said, this is too harsh. On
the gospel space.
Yeah. Why are gospel events not innovative?
Yeah.
Like compared to the secular.
Compared to the secular ones and all that. I was like, oh, this is too harsh. If you say gospel events are not innovative, that's
That's why we made a small, like, innovative ways.
Some of the innovative Christian events or events that we have seen in the country is from the gospel world. First of all, talk about Greater Works. It is one of the biggest events in the country ever.
Gospel, yeah.
But because it is not a gospel artist fronting it or something, we don't talk about it. Look at the number of people that goes there or the event host and the excellence of production.
True.
The excellence of sound, lights, great.
Maybe
great
that's from a church that is able to cater for all of that.
That is
Not
it.
an individual.
And so I want to make this point that individuals would want to do some of these things. They have great minds. For instance, there are some ideas that I have had about 10 years ago that we wanted to have done with the gospel world. Joe Metal and Co will tell you great ideas. We didn't get the resources, we didn't get the support for it, so we are not able to push that through. But just after some years, about 10 years after, I see some of these big secular houses doing those kind of, how to promote those the shows, the way they are promoting it and all. And I'm like, we sit and this thing we had it about 10 years ago. They are now seeing it, right?
True.
So the major challenge of the gospel has been support, finances.
Okay.
The ideas are there, big time,
Okay.
great ideas, but we don't have the resources. That may be because years past. We were like, and gospel dear, to say
Yeah.
a gospel dear to say. So that have been a mental in the minds of so many people. And again, the corporate Ghana, at first didn't want to push so much into gospel or gospel events. We don't want to support. We don't want to be part of gospel events. But yeah, we are seeing that the terrain is being changed gradually. We pray that more will come.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. So Andy Favored, our first guest. It's time for us to introduce our next guest. And I've been saying that her current song, I told Anaya that this song next year has to, we'll see her on platforms picking up awards. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest joining us also is PSC Esther. You know, people always used to say, oh, PSC Esther. I don't know. Did you get that from people?
I've heard that a lot of people calling me by Esther PSC.
Esther PSC.
Some are saying PSC Esther, but I don't blame them. Because there is this, I think it's a bonofo.
Okay.
Or PSC means a bonofo there.
So it's
But
from that.
Omokano or PSC.
PSC.
And when it comes to Ashanti, my people, we call it PSC. Yes. It's me as the first time made the PSC.
Okay, and as a called
So I blame myself.
And why feel?
Really?
2022 has been good to
Hey,
you.
hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
2022 has been a good one.
Thank you.
So this afternoon, I can't about events.
Yeah,
Gospel events and between me, I'm an come and sing.
Sure.
That I want. Yeah, can't time.
sure.
Yeah, can't production. Other things. You've been in the game for 20 years.
Yeah.
Imran was shot here and it till now, no. Nyama Ben I was shot. You bet me the account. Yeah, events particularly. The performances now. Shame. Senior. Bet me I come and a crab share now. Man for the one. Bet me about.
Yeah, but that's a part. I think say me patch or say my elite. Now me free one station na eba.
Okay.
In fact, Ghana, how can say we event? Because for a lot of people, they are even afraid of doing an event because the reason is for you to get some people to come on board to support you. And easy. And easy say ubenya. And you know, the me sure say a balance supporter. I mean, go forward nipa corporate bodies what some come on board to support the gospel no obia se obia twetwe ne ho so then Andy was saying say gospel the ene kwa the first no you kasa obia kra few kra
Usha identity na omo mpese omo be support mo is it because mo nye gospel no attractive enough na omo hwa omo discussion kra na omo nya hwe ba na then etumi ya ma because omo to me support secular artists program ya dey identity na gospel ni kwa dey omo ntumi.
Yes, in this case initially no beginning now say gospel no na nyema bi ho no na enim na bibia ye brewo.
Okay.
Bibia trousers kura no ukosha na usulu.
Because mo ya mo videos kwa bo ha na ye ho so obi gina flowers bi obi wo ni car.
Helen just had to break down my
There's always that flower and flower pot. I think that those who have been selling flower pot and flowers, they have to come and charge us. Because you have been mentioning their name every day. You heard First time when you are your video, you'll be standing at one place. Now, first, that point, if at cameraman, I watch our camera, no crano, watch our video, no, what the boat when chain. Wouldn't even know if take a crap. Every video, you see. So that time, a lot of things were not there. Na ama enkofo gospel no and na shadanya attractive to a lot of people because when him say what they ni sika ye behye no be a youth be or feel say oh we dey me kwekra how be boring so I will not go. He osusu say why would I go because me kokra don be no be say cabane slate ne sanya mano nti me kokra me feel good nti oma nti investors no so think say I didn't ever so hono and conform said and German conform. But now no and yes.
There can't time so see our performances and idea my events na me could catch madam say PCS perform so well it was massive say oko perform me our event what is the idea say main year to say obiani me no so that you be different you be innovative about it. Ebi anyom to say Obama ban not done no.
Yes.
So move on after you say wow. Then it becomes that's why what's your idea?
Yes. But now no dear said the American say a lot of things has changed. You might be brave because we'll be a event. You make sure say the enimo no. That is not what we are coming for.
Yeah.
Because that one there we know it already.
On my phone.
So what are we seeing now?
Yeah.
What is it that PSA is doing different? That we have not seen it before. See, now, no dear, in fact, when you are doing an event, there is this thing that you have to say, at least you give your people a different, what they have not seen before. Yes. Yes.
International say ye call no senia ye ho black o mo ye o mo recent free music senia so free throw e be go ni so wo ho you know they have been innovative ni identity ye be ho be fufura mo so mo perform ye be ho e wo mo performance mo ana.
That is what we are heading to.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because now no me papa bi obo you must in Kenya see.
In Kenya see.
Yes.
Okay.
Now the gospel no
Yeah. But
yes.
Can I come in?
Okay.
Yeah. You see, one thing that we also have to note is that I don't want to be biased, but it is the truth. You can't compare performances of the
gospel,
the secular to the gospel.
I agree with you.
That is one. And secondly, over Ghana, Hana, when it comes to performances, the gospel need now, the secular need now. They don't match up.
Yeah, of course.
They just go and play a playback.
We said it.
yeah.
Forgive me.
Sure.
Forgive me.
You are saying it.
Forgive me,
No,
but
but
they just do playback. The CDs are there, but gospel be
Yes.
one life. Now you
Yes.
see how they are pulling them.
That's
So
right.
I think that the narrative
That's
has to
right.
change. We have to tell our
It will
story.
change.
Yeah, the narrative has to change.
It will.
And then when you talk about Nyomana, that is the event producers. They bring in those kind of ideas, and you can see all that. By the grace of God, 20 years celebration for PSCS. Now we wouldn't say much, but come and see innovation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something new. Come and see
We'll
innovation.
talk about PCSO,
Yes.
but I really appreciate the fact that you mentioned the secular artists and because there's a vast difference.
Yes.
You talked about CD, you talk about they've been played even on sets. You can't about live performance and miming.
Yeah.
Most often, the gospel artists do the live performance more than we know. But do you feel that is it when we inculcate these innovations? Those who are patronizing it. Do you remember at the beginning of the conversation, you said something like sometimes the people patronizing it, it's like they don't really understand it and they don't really appreciate it when you do more. Right now, that we want to do more. How important is it? No? Do you feel they are really going to understand it and appreciate it as they have to? Because you said they're Helen Kind, they're black or no. We were all wowed about it. We've seen performances in this country, people doing amazing things. But the Oye and Sada and we're like, wow, yes, you bet maybe. say gospel yeah and no bro so
That's a
hopefully
split
say
in Ira.
in no people understand it and appreciate it.
Yes, you see, there's a culture change shifting now. People are exposed. We have a lot of the youth being seeing stuff being done on the internet
Yeah.
and all
The
that.
millennials and the Gen Z.
Yeah, so gradually, in pennyfo binom na edi anim no drop it.
Yeah, era is going.
Era is going down,
Yeah.
and there are change coming in, and the people are demanding for
that.
some of these things. First, Nia Kase, Mariganza came out first with a reggae gospel song, and she was criticized, chastised all over. Now, wakobo and you might reggae. Gospel, reggae. Gospel is supposed to be hymned.
Yeah,
The way our mindset, the way the gospel came into this country, and how we
Embraced it.
held up to it. So there's this stereotype. This is how gospel is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But we are the salt of the world. We are the light of the world.
Yeah.
We have these ideas. One thing I always say that there are two things there are two things. It's either a spiritual, full spiritual events that you are doing, worship, and on to me, and on the
Yeah.
and then we are Christians. We need Christian entertainment as well.
True.
So, how you said, the Bible said in Psalm 1, blessed is the man that sitteth not in the seat of the scornful, standeth in the way of sinners. So, what are the options for the Christian? Event we able to me out to hinti and then entertainment a Christopher. And this is where we bring in some of these innovation, these ideas, especially for the youth. And by the grace of God, we have the ideas. We are praying for the support and the resources to push some of these ideas, and it will happen.
And Andy has really done justice to South part. PSC, because I mean, I was to say, I am. About for because experience na you be as a for and now although we are calling for the innovative way so you na bro so kakra bi as how you are so inti no e mama adwene say we the mama here no be brave they are going to say that this is it. Is that the situation? So welcome back from the break. We've got a few minutes to wrap up, and let's now talk about the 20 years in the gospel music industry in Ghana. That's no joke. And yes, I'll be dropping back on our 20 years consistently, and PCS will be celebrating that in a few weeks. I mean, 20 years. What should we be expecting? A kind of innovation, Davey, and as I can't tell you, what about coming?
I'm saying, one gets here, quite will say, maybe it's so weird.
Elijah,
so definitely there will be something different.
Okay.
On that day. And that is what we are praying for. On the 6th of November, people should expect different PCS.
So that's the flyer on your screen right now.
Yes,
you see
please.
that.
Yes, please. Made by grace.
Made by grace.
Radia dom wodi abedu baby ye du. Na adie we na ye no anase program we na ye no. In the way ni say ene na make baby say ne pese e ka wiase nipa nyina ante de wo me mu no. I mean, what is in me a the person nipa nyina atumi te ase no. Ene say wa ye me yie concert. Na ubi sakra say ye den kura na peace me ye concert da.
Okay.
20 years I feel like me bida. 20 years.
I didn't say.
In a way say you see a time on this one.
Sorry, no what?
The next time na you be ban full exclusive.
Because I'm also a story by itself.
Okay.
Yes. Nti say abase me nye concert that why 20 years and I feel them say me here why me because of why me here nyum nti ana. But the answer is yes. Because what we have been through this 20 good years now, it's by the grace of God that we are still in this ministry. Sanya uradi ebi anka yesanye ebere bi atwam nti sɛ uradi aboa yɛn na sɛ yansan na sɛ owura na sɔ yɛn nsa na sɛ na yɛgyina ha ka sɛ wayɛ yɛn yi a yɛnim deɛ yɛka nti no this time around no ɛyɛ agyidifo a yɛboaboa yɛn ho ano obi biara a wonim sɛ you are made by grace baby a wo sɛ sie yi no ɛyɛ uradi adom position bi a wote mu sisi a office na wote no enye wa hoɔden
Seti a wote so sisi e.
enye wurade na de wabɛtena nti sankofo no ɛna nyame yɛ adom on the 6th of November yɛfrɛ wo mu nyinaa wayɛ me yie fans nyinaa obi bia wonim sɛ wurade ayɛ wo yie no bra bɛka me ho ne yɛnka nkyerɛ wurade sɛ me pie sɛ amete hɛ I am a testimony wurade wayɛ me yie enye sɛ ma yɛ yie sɛ I'm rich no but me kai hu sɛ bere bi atwam no na obi ɛworo atadeɛ na wɔkɔto agu no wɔkɔ sɛ oh mama me nkɔto ngu ma o ɛgɛ sɛ me bɔ mbɛ sɛ me gyina me kɔhyɛ nti sɛ na wurade adom na sɛ yɛnsere atade mfa nhyɛ bie mu a wurade wayɛ me yie.
You have come from fast. Don't worry,
Yes.
come from fast.
Yes.
Mommy, you
Yes.
got tickets.
Nti nyame adom
Tickets in
ticket
the
no
for.
I mean what I say na no kokra no ɛyɛ me kurom I mean PSA Aged Foundation mepɛ sɛ mekɔyɛ biribi wɔ me kurom
Okay.
ɛhɔ na menyini ɛhɔ na mewie sukuu so I mehume nananom mmerewafo no bi mu ɔma brɛ mepɛ sɛ memfa sedeɛ nkɔhyɛ ɔma fono ma ɛti bɛ support PSA 40 Ghana cedi.
Yeah, for
40
single
Ghana
and
cedi
a
for single.
VIP cry
Ɛyɛ
100.
Ghana cedi.
Is it we're doing the comparison?
No, you know, we've talked about this on this show before about gospel
Ticketing,
tickets. Say,
yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
How do you get the monies back by Nyame ho?
Maybe pay se be na ketwa but nyakopon be hye na nyu that day. Yeah.
Obi kwa betia bele.
Somebody can yes, obi to me afre was see us PSA. Me hu sade no hia sika because conference center kwa anya sika.
Yes. But yanka artist e also no. Me hu nipa obi a me maintain nka che Moses okay.
Mo and he is coming.
Wow.
He is representing life.
Wow.
Yes.
Tego Sisters,
Yes.
Kofi Sapon,
Yes.
Obapa Christie,
Yes.
Inshiraba Priscilla,
That's right.
Celestine Donko,
Yes.
Pastor Edwin. Wow,
That's
that's
it.
it. Wow.
It's going to be a good
Ma,
one.
what?
On the 6th of November.
Of
The
November.
6th of November.
Yeah.
AICC.
Yes.
AICC. Gates open at
AICC.
3 p.m.
Yes.
and 4 p.m. the show starts.
No Ghana man time.
No Ghana man time.
Thank
So
you.
even right from the entrance 3 p.m. the ayaka wa hani nyina you best start to see you won't be or so 3 p.m. entrance one and then kra na ekoso and the ins
Asa na be wura mu no kra na.
asa na be wura mu no kra no.
Yeah.
Mom pa entire chi na
That's
dia
it.
nyame so obeye no on fire mu no onye.
Omo nyina so kra omo ba.
Yeah,
Especially me
Nana ya.
witness ni.
Nana ya you.
Because me witness ni no me dey take it to be call master.
Men so
Okay, so this is where we've got to wrap it up. Pierce, are you expecting you're submitting the song for VGMA?
For now, dear,
Oh, I see. It has to.
It
It
We have to
has
wrap
to.
up. Thank you so much for coming. And Andy Favored, he is everything the gospel music industry, talent manager, Oye BBAB, and also PSCS star. She's a gospel musician. She's got her 20
Can I give my
20 years
telephone number?
anniversary. Okay,
yes.
so she could quickly put out a number.
Yeah,
you
if somebody
purchase.
want to have
Yeah.
the ticket
Sure.
and where they can
And where
even
they can
find
get
the
the
ticket.
Sure,
to
sure,
buy.
definitely.
Yes. So, Bachona Total,
Airport Shell.
Sunny FM,
Sunny FM.
Joy FM,
Yes.
there's Ernest Wholesale, Peace FM, yeah.
Nesta Wholesale.
Yeah, Nesta Wholesale. Yeah, I mean, the information is on her Instagram page,
That's
PCA
right.
Esther. Just go there and everything is there. And if you need to call, there are hotlines there.
0244
Yeah.
110 459. If you want to book your ticket, 0244 110 459.
Okay, thank you, PSCS, for coming. My name is Desmond Okreku, so you can call me Desifaded the Star. But big shouts to Bobby Adam. I see you, bro. And of course,
Nana Yata no Abuachi.
and
Helen Anyoja, you can call me Helen K.
okay, so Kenneth is coming through with news flash at 4. So do enjoy the rest of our programs and big shouts to the production team. We're back tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Have a great day. Bye bye.